Okay, so Ray, I'm chatting online on Facebook with a guy named Ray and Amanda. He's a really cool carver that I've chatted with over the years, on and off on Facebook. And Ray is looking for saw information, so I'm going to go over some things real quick here. Not make this video too long. So Ray, what we're talking about, let me show you this saw here. Let's start off the steel. See, these are the steel 018 or 180s. That's your kind of homeowner. The 018 is supposed to be their more commercial grade version, but personally, I like the way that the 017s run better. I'm not really sure about all the newer saws. If you buy a brand new saw with all the computer junk on it, you're gonna run into issues with running the saw as far as the pitch and the sprockets. See that rim sprocket that just slides off there and slides back on. The reason that I like, there's notches on there, I'm just there. The reason that I like the 018s, 017, 250, 025, 021, 210, these three saws by Steel, these two are the higher grade. The way you tell them is the back handle is got black on it. See, the 018, let me move this old chunker. This is, there's an old 012 AV. That's probably a 30-year-old saw, still has the chain brake. Still has the chain brake mechanism, which is fine. The problem with this saw, for most beginner carvers or most people just getting into the saw end of carving, is in here the sprocket is inverted, which means that the hub faces like that, so your clutch is on the outside. You need to take the clutch off to get this hub off and change your sprocket. And the height of that sprocket in here, yada yada, it goes through this whole thing where you need to shave the edge of your sprocket, your hub down to get them to fit this, unless you can get this specific hub, because the oiler in here is a totally different type of oiler than with these three saws. These are not as common anymore. These three saws, the reason I like them, very common. I can take a 20-year-old saw of the 018, and I can take the hub, I can take my carving hub off of that 20-year-old saw. If I had a brand new 180, it would fit right on there. The way that the steel hubs work is they fit into the saw. I'll just show you here. I'm gonna take the cover off. They fit into the saw with a simple little clip ring that you pry it off with a, oh, there goes the cover for my brake. See, these cheaper saws, this just sits up there. It just press fits in with these little nubs. Those wear out. That's the thing about the 180s and the 170s is all the plastics on these get a little bit worn out and start to fall apart after a few years. But these saws, 179, I mean, you're gonna get at least a good year out of it. You can do enough carvings to make it worthwhile. But see here, you just pop that out with a screwdriver, pull that hub off, and this is a quarter pitch that I put on there. It takes like 2 minutes to change this versus an inverted. Now the Husky 240 that you were asking about, it's a cheaper Husky. It has an inverted clutch and sprocket like that, like this saw does. And I'm just popping this off because I'm going to show you exactly what the inverteds look like. Your 455 Rancher, I can't remember if that has an inverted or a pin like the clip ring hub. See? Now on your 240, remember the 240s had that because it was a pain. It was a real pain for me to get the sprocket and hub for the 240, and then it was a pain for me to get it on the saw because Husky they don't have a real good program for that, switching out your chain pitch on the cheaper saws. Some of the Huskies are good. The 455 is definitely good. If you could get a quarter pitch for the 455, that would be sweet, but then you're going to get into the height issue from here to here, your bar to the saw, because the 455 is a mid-size saw. Let me compare. If I have a stock, that's not stock. I don't have anything stock here right now to compare. But it's the height, because these two bars I use on the 026 Pro, which is about the same size as your 455. That's a mid-size, and that's running 3/8 pitch chain. Sorry, 325 pitch chain. And as I was explaining there in our conversation, 325 is this one. You notice these drivers are closer together than these ones from point to point on your drive links, right? Here's quarter pitch. Those are closer together than that. This is 3/8. This is called Pico chain. They put this chain on the cheaper Huskies and on the cheaper Steels. The 018s come stock with 3/8 or Pico. The 210s, 021s normally come stock with that chain, and then you get over to the 250, which is about half a horse or a horse and a half higher in horsepower than the 210 021s. And those come with 325. Now here is quarter pitch full house chain. I get it from Bob King at sawnuts.com. This has a tooth every single cutter. Now the trick to these is, you see there, if you want a better cutting saw that's gonna, you said your 455 is killing you. I'm trying to get it in focus here. This phone is garbage. There you go. I trim the backs of the teeth down a little bit. You know, just angle them forward a little bit, because that gives more clearance. It makes the chain dive in a little bit quicker. Here's a stock chain. Oh, sorry about that. Here's a stock chain without being trimmed, and there is that 3/8. I trim the backs down a little bit. That in itself is one trick that a lot of carvers don't know. A lot of carvers don't know to do that. You know, here's my steel. I showed in the video how I converted that. This is a stock bar. That was this kit cost me like $52 for bar and chain, and then the sprocket in here I bought off eBay. That was like $22 for the sprockets for the E10, and I just converted. It fits the same shaft. And there's a Makita. That's a full-on, like, I took a rim sprocket. I had to take the hub all apart. It has its own little spring clutch system in it that's totally different than any other hub. It's kind of a nightmare to change them. It's this whole unit. This is all spring loaded in here, and you have to squeeze this down, pull it apart carefully. There's a clip ring up here, and then you take out the stock sprocket, or you can turn the stock sprocket down on a mill, a lathe or an end mill, and then you fit the rim sprocket over that, and then this would be your rim sprocket. See, now if you go with a rim hub, each of these is $8 to $18 a piece, depending on what you get, availability, what you get pitch wise. If you buy this whole hub, that's 35 bucks, and you can't change your sprocket out without getting a whole new hub. So that's why I like rim. Also, the rim is actually smoother on the chain because it gives some more guidance, just the way that these are precision, very precision made. I get a better feel out of them. Now, if you're gonna really get into carving, I'd say get one of these. These are 50 to 80 bucks off eBay. It's called a the Granberg breaker mender. It's a field breaker mender. You spin this. You spin this part to squeeze your rivets shut. If you want to break the chain, there's your breaker. I use this to make chains with and cut my own chains. I buy boxes and boxes of links online or at my local chainsaw shop. These are all repair links, right? And that's why I have so many chains. I can change the length of any of my chains to exactly what I need. I fit the bar, there is a video where I briefly show how to do all that. In here, besides that, I have file kits and some wrench stuff. But that's the basics. And just to show you, there's a cool carving I'm working on. That's mostly with that little guy. There's a Canon 8-inch. I've had that bar probably 5 or 6 years. Look at how nice the tip is on it. This Canon I've had, I don't know, about 8 years, and yeah, the tip's a little worn on one side because I just started using Oregon chain on this bar, and it was a big mistake. The chain tore the bar up. Before that, I was using the steel lightweight 50 thousandths gauge 325 chain, and that I'm going back to it. I'm never using the Oregon. This is the Oregon crap. I don't even like it. It doesn't even hold an edge. That's why I say Oregon has been making some really crappy. This is the first brand new chain that I bought in years. Usually what I do is I go to my saw shop. I go to many saw shops actually, and I ask them, hey, do you guys have buckets or boxes of old chain from the line companies laying around? Because what these guys will do is they'll get chain in from the line companies, and the line companies, they'll just buy new chain. And these guys will take this chain and they'll scuff it up or sharpen it up, and it's perfectly good chain. See, that's more of that Oregon stuff. I'm not happy with anything Oregon lately. They've really gone down in quality. The older Oregon is really good chain. I have a lot of it here, and this is like the Windsor Carlton, I believe. It might be older Oregon, but there's, getting good chain is important, because if your chain starts chewing your bar up, then you might as well kiss that bar goodbye. You spend $100 bucks, or 80 bucks, 125 bucks on a nice carving bar, and without a sprocket on there, it's gonna eat the chain. But like I said, you get into steel, you can get one of these. This is a little bit bigger than a quarter tip. It's almost 50-cent piece tip or so. You can get that in a steel shop, and you can run it on the smaller saw. You could run it on the 210, but the 210 might mushroom the drivers just from too much torque on this little tiny thin chain. I have ruined a few chains on my 210 of that stuff. It's dynamite stuff if you're doing a show. Yeah, I'll ruin a $12 chain because it cuts wicked fast if I'm doing an actual demonstration in front of a crowd of people for a weekend. It's worth it for me to spend, you know, $20 or $30 on a few chains and ruin them. Here is a stock Makita right out of the box, and all I did was trim the backs of the teeth off, and that's a great carving saw for indoor stuff. You can get smaller bars for those. There's there's a variety. These here, the roll top minis, they make them 12 to 14 inch. That will fit that saw, and it smokes. It's really great. We use them in ice carving all the time. But what really helps is this investment right here. I bought this probably 10 years ago, and this tool itself was the best investment that I ever made in carving. The other one, $30 Harbor Freight grinder, right? I show that in a video. I use this, I just go bump, bump, you know, I just straighten the teeth out with it, and then after I do that, I go in and I hand file. I'm actually really a hand file sharpener. This stupid thing keeps coming on. But, all right, stop. That's my electrical tester for other I just keep it in my box, so I know where it is. Hand filing, learn to hand file, get really good at it, but use this tool. See, it just goes there and then goes there, you know, and that just gets your angle. There's notches here. But I think it's 30. I have it yellow marked. I use a paint pen, I mark the tooth. Just like when I'm cutting a chain, I'll fit the chain up, mark the length that I'm gonna break, and then I can pull the chain off and cut the chain. I like to make things easier in life, so that's you know, this is a quick tour of the shop for you, Ray, and anybody else who wanted to know basically this stuff. This is another conversion with that E10 sprocket, $22 investment, and a little time flattening, grinding that sprocket a little bit lower to fit the saw, and you know, you get yourself there's probably $120 for the bar and chain on that. You can order those, and you can take it to a local shop. The bar and chain, after you fit the sprocket on, you can take that to a local shop, and the local shop, any shop that's worth their salt should be able, they can cut a chain to fit, and if you bring your bar and chain and they can line it up, make sure the oiler's gonna get passage, they can make sure everything's gonna be lined up and easy for you for now until you learn more. You just want to keep carving. There's my old E15 Beast of the East. Beautiful saw. That's like 60 years old or 50 years old. That's just 3/8. 3/8 Pico chain on a larger saw. 3/8 is 3/8, as I explain in my other videos. But we'll get into that more in other videos. So there you go.